What's goody, man? Giving you another react. Sit back, relax, and let's get into it, y'all. Roll the clip.
Okay, listen. I've been seeing a lot of black people on this TikTok saying that the Anunnakis are our ancestors. Please don't believe that. And Anunnakis come from Satan. They're not of God. And the Lord revealed to me in a dream that when they do come back, they're not here to have fun with you. No, they're here to kill. They're here to unalive.
Wow. That's a way to start off, huh? So the Anunnaki are not our ancestors, and they're not here for us. They're here to wipe us out. Right. TikTok and YouTube, this is all for entertainment purposes. Let's keep it going, y'all.
Everyone wants to know what the hell happened in 2012. Because deep down, we all felt it. Something changed. That was the year CERN turned on the Large Hadron Collider. And they smashed particles together trying to find the God particle. But what if they did more than that? What if in that moment, they ripped a hole through the very fabric of our reality? There's a theory. A young physicist once said that when they found the Higgs boson, it might have caused a quantum implosion, collapsed our original universe, and some of us, just a few, shifted into the next closest reality. Think about the last 13 years, and yes, 13. That number means death and rebirth, cycles ending, dimensions folding. The Mandela effect, not just false memory, it echoes from the world we lost. Fruit of the Loom had a cornucopia. The Monopoly Man had a monocle. Nelson Mandela died in the 80s. Except he didn't. And now, the Pentagon confirms UFOs are real. Government whistleblowers saying we've recovered non-human biologics. That would have been laughable in the old world. But not here. Because this isn't the same reality anymore. And you can feel it. I feel it. Nothing's quite right. Everything's just slightly off. We didn't survive 2012. We were rerouted, pulled from the wreckage of one reality and dropped into another. The truth is, we're not supposed to be here. But we are. Now ask yourself, who the fuck turned the machine back on and why? And yes, it's for entertainment purposes only. So don't lose your shit. Stay blessed, my friends.
A lot of people that I've been talking to online and in person, pretty much everywhere, everyone's giving me this, like every single day feels like Groundhog Day, you know? Other peoples are saying that they feel like there's no more to life anymore, you know what I mean? A lot of people just come up with so many theories as to the weird stuff that's happening to them with time and all of that. It's just crazy, man. It really is. Let's keep going.
So some scientists at Harvard are putting out warnings saying that an object the size of Manhattan is barreling towards Earth right now. This is the object right here. Now they're saying it's gonna be here by the end of November. They don't just think it's an object, they think it's a spacecraft coming to attack the Earth. It's called 31 Atlas, and they're worried about a surprise attack. They're also saying that when it reaches its closest point to the sun in late November, it will temporarily vanish from Earth's view. And they're worried because they think this could be a deliberate move to avoid detection. Now, even though this object has been spotted in space, it remains hypothetical because it can't be proven that it's an alien ship. But if it is an alien ship, then I think we're probably done in November. Now, we'd obviously take some defensive measures, I think, but that would be useless against whatever the fuck that is. So they're calling these aliens crypto-terrestrials. And the scientists are also saying that these crypto-terrestrials are already here living among us, and they're just disguised as humans. And all the UFOs that we've been seeing recently is just them coming and going. And it was predicted that 2025 would be the year that we meet the aliens.
I know what is causing all this crazy weather, the earthquakes, the pole to shift, the earth to start spinning faster. I know what it is. What would it be? What would make the earth spin faster? A planetary pole. It's got to be Nibiru. People are seeing an extra sun in the sky. They're seeing planets, hanging around where they're not supposed to be. Like, it's insane. But we have all this crazy weather with the earthquakes and the hurricanes and the forest fires and the flooding, and the pole has been shifting steadily for years now, speeding up, shifting. And then we have the earth spinning faster. Are you insane? Like, the only thing that causes this stuff is Nibiru. Nibiru has to be coming through, you guys. It's got to be Planet X. There's the theory that we have an extra planet that just hangs out way far away from us and only comes around like every 3,600 years. And it's supposed to be due like right now. So it has to be Nibiru. Do y'all know what Nibiru is? Have y'all ever heard of Planet X or Nibiru or Wormwood? The Bible talks about it being called Wormwood. Apparently the Anunnaki live on this planet. Some people think they're coming to harvest us. Usually, the tail of Nibiru has a lot of asteroids in it, and it's supposed to send a lot of asteroids down on the Earth. And we have had a couple of that happen in Georgia and South Carolina, so maybe it is. I don't know, guys. Things are erupting and going crazy in our world these days. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments and follow for more.
That's pretty crazy. In the Bible, it says that there is this thing in the sky called wormwood, and somehow that's connected with Nibiru. April 18th, 2024, that was the eclipse situation. Then we saw all those little things in the sky flying everywhere. This is all for entertainment purposes. Do your research. I don't know if you guys recall that. And then with the weather, and then with everyone all around the world seeing two suns in the sky. What do you guys think is going down? Seriously. Drop in the comments, y'all. Let's keep it running.
So scientists have made the discovery that this right here is considered to be an alien mothership that is headed towards Earth, and they do have hostile intentions. Now, they claim that this anomaly, I'm going to call it an anomaly for now because nobody can tell whether it's real or not. They say it's headed towards Earth, and it should be arriving in our atmosphere around November. Now, they are also saying that this has a catastrophic implication towards us as a species, meaning that they come here with some hostile intentions. So my question is, what do you guys think about this? Do you think this is something that's actually coming our way? Let me know down in the comments.
Where are these things coming from? Let's suppose these things are actually real, whatever they are. Are they really coming from where they're claiming they're coming from? Are they coming from a different dimension, from a different land? Where are they coming from, and why are they really here? What's their purpose? Is it cap? It's all bullshit. What do you guys think, man? Drop it in the comments, y'all. Let's keep it going.
There's a door, a round door, like in the Stargate. And I don't know if it's as big. Yeah, there is one picture that the person is quite small, actually, on it. You can go and look for those interested. Go and type CERN portal LHC door, and you will see. So in front of the door, they have a room. They probably have many doors, but they have a room, and they sit around the table. And I said, so yeah, what happened? He said, well, an entity came from this portal, and like
What?
it sat at the table. I was like, but how is this what do you mean entity? Is it a person? Is it an alien? What color are they, like us? And they couldn't answer anything. They said, no, it's not. We know, we just know it at CERN, and they cannot describe it, but they have it secondhand. It's not third, fourth. It's a very good friend who knows.
That's very.
Okay, I have to find something more because that's not enough.
Even she knows it's not enough. I mean, she is a scientist,
I said, can you proof? And is there a proof that they bring, that they give something? There's some document, and they said that this entity the second time took a scarf and left a scarf. I said, what type of scarf? And they don't know. They're not into the detail. They were really into the event and not the detail. And this entity left again. So that's the short scoop that started me going and trying to look for that. And so
CERN is back to their shenanigans again. It's crazy, man. Crazy, crazy. So we have people in power that are turning on machines in order to access dimensions that we have no fucking clue about, to our existence, to our reality. I wonder what could happen. I only wonder what could happen from that happening. What do you guys think? Drop it in the comments, y'all. Let's keep it going.
Here we have a guy filming outside two objects that's appearing in his camera. A UPS guy was going past and he was pretty much begging the UPS guy to look and see the objects inside of his camera. And the UPS guy was so caught up in his job and in his affairs that, you know, he couldn't and wouldn't even take the time out to look at the objects, but there were actually two objects in this man's camera right here. And so on the next footage, there's a guy filming the news, right? And then as he filmed the news, he noticed that there was an object by the sun that looked like a planet. And so a plane was passing by and the news was about some kind of vacation stuff, but there was an object by the sun in the news footage. Here, a guy is outside filming the two planets in the sky next to the sun, and he pans the camera down in the car window as well. So he's, you know, moving the camera to the left or the right to show that these objects is not moving, to, I guess, prove that it's not a lens flare. And so basically, you know, when you're looking at the objects, it appears to be the same objects that the first guy was filming next to the sun. So we have what we know as God's kingdom coming, but as we can see clearly here, God's kingdom is here. It is.
You guys are not gonna believe this. When I first saw it, it blew my mind. We are literally living in the last seconds. There is a broadcast out right now stating what to do if you hear the trumpets blow. Basically, if you're left behind. Check it out for yourself.
If you are among the first to hear it, move away from other people. Do not talk to anyone who claims to have understood the message. If meaningless phrases begin to be repeated in a low voice or in sync, leave that area immediately. Do not follow anyone who moves toward the source of the sound. They no longer respond. If your house begins to shake slightly or the lights dim, find a place without windows and remain silent. Do not respond to any calls from outside, even if you recognize the voice, especially if it comes from above. After the third trumpet, the sound becomes internal. Some begin to hear it inside their skull. If that happens, write down what you hear and burn the paper without reading it. Don't share it. Don't say it. The signal seeks to replicate itself. Remain silent. Remain in the shadows. Don't pray. Don't look to the sky. Don't respond to the sound. Trumpets don't announce anyone's arrival. They are the warning that he is already here.
What in the world did we just witness? You gotta be kidding me. You heard it yourself. All I can say is, get your heart right with God, and you won't have to worry about it. See you guys in the clouds.
What on earth is that about, man? Dude. Let's keep going.
Isn't it dangerous if I look?
Aha.
No, I'm right here. I'm right here. Do not take off your rifle. Please listen to me. What? No. No. Girl, call out to me. Just call out to me, please. Just call out to me. Where are you? Boy, girl, where are you? Don't take my children. Do not take my children.
Here are 6 reasons why you would never survive the Bird Box movie. If you haven't already watched the movie, there's these invisible monsters that cause you to hallucinate and commit suicide if you see them. 99% of the people die in the movie because they didn't even know the monsters existed, they looked outside and they just died. Chances are you're in that 99%. If you're in a major city and you're taking a walk at the side of the road, but someone in the car sees a monster and drives into you to commit suicide, chances are you're Food is also a major issue in the movie. 99% of you can't even farm with your eyes open, so try doing it with your eyes closed. Good luck getting any food and surviving. Also, if you were in the inner city, eventually you're going to run out of water, and there's literally no way you're going to be able to walk out of the city to a source of water and purify the water without dying. Also, I forgot to mention that these creepy controlled by the monsters. They can see, you cannot, and they'll force you to open your eyes. Even if you manage to find a weapon, they'll just remove your blindfold and you can't even fight back. If you're on a plane or any sort of vehicle that you need to park, you won't be able to park it because you won't be able to see. Make sure you follow because the next video I'm going to be teaching you why you wouldn't survive the Hunger Game.
Dude, you have this series, it's called Childhood's End, and there's one part in there where the beings that came from wherever they came from, they ended up pulling off some hallucination tricks on some of the people that were talking too much in order to get rid of them. Correlating that with this, it's no different, man. Or maybe, I don't know. What do you guys think? Drop it in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Let's keep it going.
This is the point in 2025 where I draw the fucking line. They now say it's a possible hostile demons, alien threat detected in the unknown interstellar object, as new studies claim. And this is the object that they're talking about. And y'all don't find that crazy? After 2024, after all of them alien hearings, now we have a potential hostile demons, aliens that we could potentially come in contact with. And how do y'all know that they hostile? Huh? And y'all think this is a game? Please go do y'all research. Multiple different news articles that covered this. Project Bluebeam, maybe, potentially. I'm just saying. So if y'all have in y'all bingo card a bump down session with E.T. and his little cousins, then you're correct. Yeah, it's definitely about to get strange. But y'all let me know what y'all think about aliens might be returning back in the comments. Like and follow for more wisdom and stay tuned. Now, if you want to learn how to build a passive revenue by posting content or make money online, period, comment down below hub and I'm gonna send the resources in your DMs. E.T. coming home!
What's the name of that movie that just came out about a year or two ago? It's called The Silent Ones, or all I know is that somewhere in the middle of the trailer, they're being hunted down, and the slightest noise, boom, they're there, they snatch you up. And I'm relating to that. There's this thing called the Great Old Ones, the Archons. You should know. If you do know anything about what I'm talking about, drop it in the comments. Let's build on this. Let's keep it going, y'all.
When will this planet come back?
It's here.
It's already in the area.
Oh yes, right now it's in conjunction. It is behind the sun. It's coming up. It came up in the direction towards the sun's, say, 7:30 position.
Okay.
Now, when it comes out from behind, it'll be around the 1:30 position. And
will we be able to see it then?
Yeah. And when we see it, if you're not prepared, frankly, when we do see it, people are going to be standing out in the street. They're going to be pointing up at the sky.
You'll be able to see it like that?
Oh yeah, you're going to see it. It's a melancholia scenario. Jeez. It's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger because this thing is going to come around from behind the sun and cross over our orbit above us and ahead of us. And there's a gentleman, Bob Dean, government whistleblower. He's one of my heroes. I just love this guy.
Yeah, good guy.
And I think in 2008 on Project Camelot, he made a prediction. He said, according to my sources, when we are going to be on the same side of the sun as the Planet X system when it goes into its aphelion leg. That's when it's going back south.
Okay.
And that is when it's really going to be jamming,
And jamming meaning doing things to us?
To the sun, to us. First off, let me just explain the Planet X system.
Okay.
Nemesis is the dark star. All right. And it hasn't been visible for a very long time to the naked eye because it's shrouded in iron oxide dust.
Okay.
This is from its creation.
And where would that be now, that binary star?
That binary star is beyond the orbit of Jupiter, behind our sun.
And that's why we can't see it.
We can't see it. First off, let me just explain the Planet X system.
Okay.
Yes. It's a long period elliptical orbit. It's inclined to, here's the plane of our solar system, all right, and it's inclined, and it goes up and down in 3,600 lunar. That's right. It doesn't go around like we do. So it comes up and down like a comet.
Okay.
It's a comet-like orbit, and it's very long. What happened was in early 90s, a gentleman by the name of Robert Harrington. He was an astronomer for the U.S. Naval Observatory in Washington. He was the chief astronomer. He wrote a brilliant paper on the location of Planet X. All right. Not only did he do that, he backed it up by having a telescope specially constructed, sent to an observatory owned by our government in New Zealand. Because at that time it was in the southern skies.
Just to look for this planet.
Yes. And what happened was all of the image plates that came off that telescope were sent to NASA, disappeared. Never seen again.
Well, that's interesting.
And shortly after that, he died a very mysterious...
I really want to show you this clip. This is a former CIA agent, John Ramirez, and he's talking about the arrival of a new species and how the governments of the world need to disclose information to prepare humanity for what's coming in 2027. Let me preface this by saying there's no such thing as a former CIA agent. There's more chance that you will see Bigfoot on a unicycle before you ever see a former CIA agent. Watch this.
The U.S. population at least, and by extension the world population, into that reality that there is a presence here, and that we need to explain this presence, because if they show up and we continue to do what we did before in previous decades, and they show up, there will be mass panic. But if you understand that these are real, and we have 5 years from 2022, or maybe now 4 years, if they come in 2027, for the U.S. government to prepare the people about what is up there. And in many ways, I think the word got out within the government that they're showing up in 2027, and we better be prepared. And if not, there's going to be a lot of explaining to do. And so I think that dialogue has happened within inside the government, in certain areas inside the government, that we need to prepare. And that's why in 2017, that set up the clock of 10 years. And why Lou Elizondo earlier this year said, just find a hobby for 5 years. And, it'll all be out in 5 years. And he said that this year, so that was 2027. And I would say I've heard 2027 in a kind of an official capacity, and I can't reveal. So I think I would say that people in the government are aware of something happening, and that there's limited time, a few more years to prepare the people, and that's what's ramping up this acceleration from the previous 7 decades of not even acknowledging it to now we are acknowledging it at a faster and faster pace.
Well, there you have it. Do your own research. But I will say this. If there's anyone in the government that knows about this and knows what's coming in 2027, and you're not doing everything that you can to prepare people for this, you need to get out of the way and let someone disclose for you. I think it's time.
Dude. So apparently all the governments all around the world have it in secret, knowing all of this is about to go down. And they're not trying to reveal anything to the public out of worry that the public is going to panic insanely. That's literally... So they're basically waiting until the last minute when everything hits the fan. Is that what it seems, y'all? What do you think? Drop it in the comments, y'all. Let's keep it going.
Hey, TikTok, it's Keith the Lawyer. I'm not going to give my disclaimer today because I don't think it's necessary. We're going to talk about the Death Star, for lack of a better term. That is, it was at first a 6-mile long ship, then a 9-mile long ship, and I saw a story yesterday that said it is a 12-mile long spacecraft that is approaching the Earth and will be here. First it was November. Now I've heard that it may be here in September. Anyhow, this story, this discovery, if you want to call it that, was put out by a Harvard scientist. It's ought to carry some weight. But anyhow, apparently aliens are real, the Death Star is on its way to Earth and nobody cares. You know, if this is to be believed, and I'll say I do not believe it. Anyhow, if this is to be believed, people just don't care about it. You would think that this would be the top story everywhere and that nobody would be talking about anything else. Now, most of the comments about this story are they're just trying to distract us from Epstein, distract us from what's going on in the Middle East, distract us from, you know, Russia or Ukraine or whatever you want to say. People will say they're just trying to distract us. Well, if that's the case, it didn't work because a lot of people that will see this video have not even heard about the Death Star that is on its way. They later put out a story that it's on its way to Earth aggressively. You know, how do you head towards something aggressively? You know, anyhow, so I would say that the vast majority of people just don't know about this. They haven't heard about it because it's not the top news story everywhere like you think it would be. Aliens are real. They have a Death Star and they're on their way here. You know, most people haven't heard about it. The ones that have heard about it, I'd say most of them, like me, don't believe it. So I think the real story here is that a Harvard scientist would put out this story, would allow his name to be attached to it, and that the university would allow their name to be attached to it. Anyway, we don't have to worry about TikTok going away anymore, or any of the other things that we were worried about, because aliens are real and they're on their way here in their Death Star. Thanks for watching. This is Keith the Lawyer.
Well, I'm sure that by now you've heard that something earth-shattering, something ominous is happening in 2027. Everybody's talking about it. Well, Ross Coulthart just said something in a recent interview, and it's concerning. And he wasn't being dramatic. He says that we're on borrowed time. Let that sink in.
Everybody's telling me we're on borrowed time. And I cannot begin to emphasize how serious a look I get.
So he claims that multiple high-level sources, people under national security oaths, are warning that something is coming. Something that could shift the world as we know it by around 2027. Not maybe, not someday, but it's a deadline, a countdown, and it's already started. Coulthart's, he doesn't say that aliens are landing on the White House lawn, but there is urgency and it's real. And the people he's talking to, intelligence officials, defense contractors, and insiders, they're not prone to fantasy. Some think it's full disclosure, UFO topic. Others whisper about some sort of event, one that we're not ready for. So,
hey, do you remember when they said, oh no, Nibiru can't be real? How could a planet get trapped into our orbit in our solar system? No, that could never happen, right? Okay. In the meantime, study finds that rogue planets can become permanently trapped in our sun's orbit. Oh my, look at that. How did the Sumerians ever know? Here's the fun part. NASA has found six, not one, 6 new rogue planets. What to know? I'll tell you what to know. Some Anunnaki history to start with. I've been here on this app for years trying to educate people and teach them who the Anunnakis are. Who are the gods of all the religions around the world? Where did these religions stem from? Where did they start? Who made them? Yada, yada, yada. The Anunnaki did. So now that it's happening again, I just want to let everybody know that I was right and you were wrong. Bye.
And this is the name, and this is what the ships look like over a Starfort city. The name Jehovah and Yahweh is 2 interesting names, but I wanted you to notice that when you see the name like this in the sky with the sunbeam around, it's literally meaning that it's inside of a ship, and this is the name or the being that's inside of the ship. This is symbolism, but ultimately the raw meaning is this right here. It's this name in a ship in a cloud. Whenever you see the name in the sky like that, it is meaning that it's in a ship in a cloud. As time progressed, they begin to cloak all of this right here. Here's another coin. It's above a star fort city. There's the name Yahweh right there. And you can see all of it is above a star fort city. And this is the exact same thing. When you see it in the sky with this sun glare above a city, it's in a ship and it's saying the name. And I'm showing you this to get to here. Here is Jehovah with the I. So Jehovah with the I. And if you notice, it's in the cloud of fire. It's in the cloud, and it's the exact same thing. So Yahweh and Jehovah is actually the same person, and it's showing you the name Jehovah in a cloud. And some of you might say Yahweh and Jehovah isn't the same, but you can go online and this is what it'll tell you. Yes, Yahweh and Jehovah are both names for the God of Israel in the Bible. So the Yahweh and the Jehovah are beings or people who fly in an apparatus, who fly in an airship. So Jehovah and Yahweh is the same thing. See this right here? This is Yahweh and Jehovah. They're both the same entity. And it's saying that this Yahweh or Jehovah flies in an airship. It is not a divine being as in, you know, the Most High itself. This is something pretending to be like the Most High. It needs an airship and it hides itself in a cloud. So I can understand, you know, back in the time of Israel, you know, if they're not seeing this spaceship and they're only seeing the clouds, them assuming that it's the God in a cloud. And I say that because of this right here. It says in the Bible, the God of Israel is described as fighting in a cloud and fire during the exodus of Israel from Egypt. It says in a cloud and fire, fighting in a cloud, fighting in a cloud. This is the name, in a cloud with fire. So this is telling you that these entities has always been around since the time of Noah. They are the ones who caused the flood of Noah, and they are the ones who are helping Israel fight. So imagine when Israel went to war and the God went ahead of them, the God that went ahead of them, or the people or being that went ahead of them, was in an airship. This is the reason why they was able to win so many wars. It's because their enemies are riding on horses and their ally is in the air in an airship firing upon them. So I'm saying this ship right here caused this right here. That ship right there fired that right there. Caused that destruction. Boom. Caused it. That's what I'm saying. It made everything look like this. So the same God that destroyed the world during the time of Noah is the same entity, the same beings using airships to destroy our last paradigm. And if you go Bible-wise, it's saying that this entity or being was helping Israel defeat all of its enemies. So we go on to this next one. That's what this comes into play right here. This is Israel's God, but it shows it flooding the world, and it shows it destroying the world once again in 1665. So when I hear a man say we destroyed the world once and we'll do it again, you know, the once was like, okay, Noah, and then you turned around and you did it again. You know, this makes you wonder. But all of this comes down to this one piece. How you believe this whole situation. You know, it says on the coin Biblia, so biblical, Bible. You see what I'm saying? That circle up there, that is their airship. That is their symbol and their airship. And their story about their conquering is inside of the Bible, written as if it was something in a cloud helping man, when truly
There's gonna be wow, that's crazy, man. So since the beginning of time, while humanity's doing its thing, trying to evolve and grow, there's this thing that's in the sky that's overseeing everything and seeing that the moment a chapter of humanity comes where it's able to do its thing on its own, it just blasts it off like, nah, bro, you're going back to the Stone Age. And it just keeps repeating that same process again. These are all hypothetical theories. This is all just my opinion. TikTok and YouTube, this is all entertainment. Everything I'm saying is not even real. It's all being made up. All for entertainment. Let's keep it going, y'all. This is pretty interesting. We cooking, y'all. We cooking.
This is gonna be humans part reptilian too, a hybrid. So you're like a spy of the Anunnaki. They're the ones that created you with a purpose. Your purpose is to blend in with the humans. So here you are, and then you eventually are mixed. Since you got mixed, they're doing genetics. They mix you whether you agree to it or not. They'll rape your females, make a hybrid, and force her to, go through labor. And so this is one of the ways they get our genetics. They'll combine it with their own. So we have beings literally that are extraterrestrials that look like humans but are only part human. So they're still extraterrestrial. Not from this world. But kind of, but not really. Certainly not by intention. They just wanted to find a way to be spies. Now they have intel. Hardcore, real tangible intel. Wow, think about that. You just gave them sight, sound, thoughts, energy.
Are we the Anunnaki? Are we hybrids? Are we half Anunnaki, half human? I mean, don't we have the reptilian brain right here? Isn't that a part of our brain? Why do we even have that? Are we half reptilian, half human? Are we the Anunnaki and we're just their creation and they're coming back after the experiment? They say 3,600 years for one orbit around the Earth. And every time they come around, they do the crazy stuff. This is all for entertainment purposes. Nothing's real. Everything I'm saying is all made up. Let's keep it going, y'all. This is crazy.
At 20 million miles from us when it crosses in front of us, and then as soon as it flips us upside down, we're going to go into its debris field tail and be pelted with meteorites. And of course in the Bible it says they will talon 70 pounds. So if you've got 70-pound meteorites falling like hail, and I can guarantee you they will be falling like hail because there are that many in the tail of this thing. This thing has got a tail loaded with trash. I mean, it's incredible the amount of stuff that's in this thing's tail. And we're going to go right through that tail, and if it doesn't beat everything on the surface of the ground into a flat putty, I don't know what it'll take. I tell everybody, you better be at least 20, 30, 40, 50 feet underground and have either concrete or stone above you, because it'll break through the roof or whatever you've got if you don't. These CIA guys told me that this pole shift will probably happen from start to finish in around 28 minutes. That doesn't give you a lot of warning. When you see that thing out there in the sky, you're going to have to run as fast as you can to your underground facility, because this is going to happen so fast. Now, see, here's another thing nobody's talking about. You've got this giant iron planet that they say is 47,000 miles across, getting ready to come up past us. And when it starts to approach us, it's going to start and have real serious effects.
So is it a planet or a failed star?
It's not a failed star. I saw this thing up close. It did not look like a failed star. It looked just like our sun.
Right.
Okay. Would you call our sun a failed star?
No. Okay, well, you had said planet. I wasn't sure if it was like a failed star brown dwarf or a full sun. So it's a full sun?
It looks to me like a miniature sun, just like the one we have. The only difference is our sun is giving off flames and stuff, and this one's doing the same thing as it, but it's giving off this red iron oxide cloud of dust around it, and until it got close, we couldn't even tell what was in there. We could see it was hot, and it looked like it was just a dull red when we were first able to discern it through the red cloud. But as it approached, it started to become more apparent that this thing is just orange hot. I mean, to tell how hot it is, I was told that it was, they estimated between 5 and 10 million degrees, but you know, I don't really know, if that's right or not. I mean, it's got to be pretty hot because it's sending all of this red iron oxide dust out into space around it,
right.
And it's got this enormous, and I mean enormous, at least 50 or 100,000 miles on each side of it, this red dust cloud that goes all the way around it. I know when we were watching it, as it started to make the upward swing to approach behind our sun, it was amazing. The red dust cloud settled down. Instead of being round, it started to settle down into a V, like wings, upside down wings.
Right.
And I thought, boy, I wonder if that's where the ancient Sumerians got the idea this thing had wings, because, you know, centrifugal force is a funny thing. When it comes back up around the planet, when we see it in the sky, my guess is it's going to look like it's got wings, because centrifugal force is going to be pulling the red iron oxide dust and particles out to one side, and then as it starts to climb out and go away from us, listen, I was told that this thing's magnetic field is going to be so strong, anybody that does not have a padded lead helmet to wear will have their brain gutted for everything they ever knew, and they'll be a complete raving moron after this thing passes. They'll lose they won't know, they'll pee in their pants. They won't have a clue what's going on, because this thing will gut their brain. And you know, I was reading a deal in my Bible. It says that after this happens, that nobody will care because they won't be able to remember it. Well, of course, I was told by somebody the reason that is because the electromagnetic field from this thing will be so strong, because, see, as it comes up underneath of us, it's going to start and pull us toward it. And then, just like a pair of big magnets, all of a sudden it's going to lock onto us. And when it does, it's going to be like the Jolly Green Giant kicked the earth in the ass. It's going to send a jolt 500 to 1,000 foot high. This is what I'm told. 500 to 1,000 foot high shock waves all the way around planet Earth. They'll be so bad that in a lot of areas that don't have good solid soil, it'll fluff it so badly that you'll practically be like you're standing in quicksand. And that this thing's magnetic field will literally gut your brain of everything. And so you may want to give some thoughts to getting you some sheet lead, build you a little lead helmet to wear, you know, like a little motorcycle helmet to protect your... There was a scientific storm in America all through the late 50s about this thing out there in space, because the astronomers were all watching it, and that was back when they weren't afraid to talk about it. It was in the science magazines. I mean, I had a subscription to, like, Popular Science, and hell, it was on the front cover of the magazine one day in, like, 1961. And I was really excited when I saw it, because here's this giant red planet on the horizon of the California coast, and a humongous tidal wave coming in towards the coast, and having grew up in the mountains of the Sierras, and this thing in the magazine, it said this tidal wave coming in was going to be at least 3 miles high, and I went in and showed it to everybody in the house, and they laughed, and they said, look, it says right here, there's nothing to worry about. It won't be here for another 50 years.
Wow. So that movie, Don't Look Up, yeah, that explains the reason why all the top richest people around the world are making these bunkers and things like that, working around the clock, man. And then you have the AI stuff rolling out. They were working around the clock to make that a reality. Is that all of that connected together? Man, mile-long high waves, man, just flying everywhere. This shit is too intense. That is pretty wild, man. Pretty wild. Let's keep going.
Melanin pigment, right, is so unbelievable, George. They use it in computer chips now because it has an ability to transduce electrical energy. Can you imagine this? It has this incredible ability to hold on to and transduce and manipulate electrons, electronic energy, and photons, photonic energy. It's a fascinating molecule.
Melanin is the chemical key to life. There is nothing else to study in science but melanin. We call it chemi, which means black. The people who study melanin particles call what they're studying, the science is called chemistry. What you call chemistry, the study of melanin particles that go around in an orbit, and we call them electrons, protons, solitons. Those are melanin particles. That's why we call it chemistry. And the country you come from is called Kemet, which some people call Egypt. There's nothing else to study but melanin. And if you study chemistry or heard of chemistry and haven't heard the word melanin, you have just been studying social science.
So now you're telling me that a council known as the Galactic Federation has been monitoring our planet since the beginning. They apparently were going to make themselves known in 2027, but due to everything that's been going on Earth, they've moved it up to 2025. They are on their third level of presenting themselves, first starting with the orbs last year, which a lot of people have seen. The second phase, their motherships, their modes of transportation, have been all around the entire world, cloaked, multiple places that I've seen the videos. Now, once again, this is allegedly, but the third phase is the guy who was sleeping in the egg. The egg that the video that just came out recently, he was resting there, so he's basically their go-to guy. So there is apparently a council of 26, and there are the council of 5, which will be making their human presence known very soon to help us basically get through every bit of craziness that's been happening in our world right now. Now, obviously, anything I say is for entertainment, education, learning, and conversation purposes only, but this is fascinating to me because there has been a lot of things in the news, a lot of things that add up, don't add up. So obviously, take what you will, leave what you won't. I'm not here to encourage you to believe one thing or the other. It resonates here and it feels truthful to me. So yeah, drop it in the comments. Have you heard this? Do you know more? Do you believe it? Do you not believe it? I think it's a fun thing.
You have the Anunnaki returning, and then you have the Galactic Federation returning. What is it? Are they both the same? Are they both different entities? Are they going to go to war with each other? What's going on here, y'all? There's so many conspiracies. You got one side here saying that the Anunnaki are for us and that they're actually divided between the Anunnaki that's for us and the Anunnaki that's wanting to control us as slaves. Then you have the other side saying, nah, bro, that's all cap. They're here to destroy all of us. We're just an experiment. We are their creation. So many theories. What do you guys think? Drop it in the comments, y'all. This melanin shit is mind-blowing, to say the least. Let's keep this going.
This is it right here, fam. The military was interested in melanin. This is what's going on. Look, why is the military interested in melanin? Look, the military has used melanin for various applications such as harvesting thermal energy for cold weather vehicles, creating melanin-based clothing coatings, dramatically improving EMP shielding capacity, dramatically improving radiation shielding capacity, creating melanin technologies that help reduce diseases, and dramatically improving the capacity to store and release energy. Is there anything else you would like to know? You damn right. Oh my God. The rabbit hole is open. Large-scale melanin, natural melanin production for military applications. Agency, Department of Defense, about $166,000. Phase 1. Yo. Oh. Hold up. Give the people where we at. Okay, alright, hold on. Let's go, people, hold on. Solicitation year. They've been selling this?
It's like everything is for sale nowadays, man. Jeez. Everything. Let's keep it going.
There will be no more Florida. Which brings up something else I'll mention in a moment, which is fascinating. The Gulf Coast, about half of Alabama, a little more than half of Mississippi, almost all Louisiana will be underwater, and Texas, devastation about 80 to 100 miles inland. West Coast, not quite so bad. It gets pretty high elevation pretty quick. There's an inland sea, what's going to become an inland sea. So the problem with California is that's where all the people live, is on the coast. What do we have in Los Angeles? 15, 20 million people? They'll be gone. And you got Washington State and Oregon. The middle of the country, the Mississippi River, will split the country in two. The Mississippi River will be 100 to 200 miles wide, a couple hundred feet deep. The government's already planning for this. The main new capital will be Denver. Talk about that a little bit more. The eastern capital and the minor capital would be Atlanta, Georgia, the highest elevation major city east of the Mississippi. The government is already splitting, like, for example, the U.S. Army. The United States Army Northcom, Northern Command, is being split east-west of the Mississippi River. They've been doing that now for 8 or 10 years. There was a project that I'm working with my listeners on my radio show, and I could not possibly do this by myself. And Florida reminded me of it. We're recovering images from movies and television shows and now magazines showing continents with new coastlines.
All right, so look, yesterday I made a video talking about how big tech is going to need melanin to upgrade their AI into AGI. And not just any melanin, not like synthetic melanin or not melanin that's grown in a lab. They are going to need the real deal, real authentic biological melanin from human beings. This is the only type of melanin strong enough or potent enough to satisfy their AI ambitions, to satisfy their technological needs. And after I posted that video, when I was looking in the comment section, I noticed a lot of people bring up Memphis. There was a lot of people bringing up how Elon Musk is building this supercomputer in Memphis, Tennessee. And it got me thinking, there is a lot of melanin in Memphis, Tennessee. So I wanted to make this video today to bring awareness that melanin extraction is a real thing, and why the people of Memphis, Tennessee should be worried about it, and why other people who live around these data centers should be worried about it. So let's get into it. Let's start with a question. Now you have to ask yourself, why would Elon Musk, the richest man on planet Earth, build a godlike computer, not in Silicon Valley, not in a global tech capital, but in Memphis, Tennessee, a city that is not known for tech, but a city that is more known for poverty, for struggle, for soul, a city that is nearly 70% black? That's a lot of melanin. And what if I told you that this choice wasn't random? And what if I told you that this was not about geography? But what if I told you this decision to build these AI facilities, or this one particular AI facility in Memphis, Tennessee, was a decision based on biology? What if he needed access to the melanin? Now, I am aware that a lot of people don't realize that melanin extraction is a real thing and has been a real thing for at least 100 years. You can Google it. In the 1920s, a man named William J. Young published a paper about melanin extraction that I don't think a lot of people have seen. But in these papers, he described how he extracted melanin, real biologically sourced melanin, from human skin, specifically Aboriginal skin, and he proved it could be chemically isolated, stored, and repurposed. And all this since the 1920s. I did a video about this not too long ago. It's actually pinned at the top of my profile if you want to watch that video on melanin extraction. But I believe that it is William J. Young who opened up the door to what may be one of the most hidden sciences of the past 100 years. Nobody talks about melanin extraction, but it's been happening. And I know I've talked about it before, but I just want to go over it again. I want to go over why they want to extract this melanin, because I don't think people still understand. People don't understand that melanin is not just a pigment. Melanin is a superconductor. It absorbs and converts light and radiation into usable energy. It stores memory like a biological hard drive. It regulates ion flow like neurochips, and it communicates on a quantum level. And I know to some people it might seem like science fiction, but there are studies, there are reviews by scientists who have shown all these things to be true. All you got to do is go on your computer, go on Google or whatever search engine you use, and look up melanin extraction. And don't just look up like the articles, like just regular media. I'm talking about look up the research papers. That's where the information is in the research papers. So look, getting back on topic, if AGI, artificial general intelligence, is the holy grail for big tech, if AI needs more than just data, it needs life, it needs sensation, it needs consciousness, what better substrate than melanin to use? So here comes Elon Musk, building a supercomputer hub in the middle of the blackest, most economically abandoned cities in America. Elon calls it a neural training facility. He says it will become the brain of his AI project. What's the goal? The goal is to create a machine that can think, that can feel, and act like God. But to build a God, you need spirit. You need memory. You need pain. You need intuition. You need ancestral knowledge. And there is no synthetic chip that can replicate that. Only melanin can. So let's widen the lens back on this thing a little bit. Have you noticed how easy it is for black and brown people to just vanish, to just disappear, to just be gone and never heard from again? Memphis has one of the highest missing person rates in the South. Go look. Hundreds, at least hundreds, are reported missing every year. Thousands over the decades. And some are never found, some are labeled runaways, but most are forgotten. And you have to ask yourself, with all the tools that the government has, surveillance, all the drones, hell, even DNA tracking, how do so many people just disappear? How many people just fall off the face of the earth and none of this technology tracks it? Well, here's the theory. What if they're not being lost? What if these people are being collected? Which brings me to ICE. Let's talk about ICE. Now, ICE was originally designed for immigration control, but now ICE has upgraded into a militarized force that snatches people off the streets, specifically brown and black people off the streets. And it holds them in secret, privatized detention centers with no oversight, with no accountability. And in some cases, there ain't even no charges. In many cases, they just snatching innocent people off the street who ain't did nothing and throwing them in these facilities to never be heard from again. And one of those places is Alligator Alcatraz, which is essentially a remote detention camp surrounded by swampland, described by lawyers and whistleblowers as a black site. The President of the United States literally said that he wanted ICE to act like an army. So we know that this machine is still active, this machine that snatches black and brown bodies off the streets. But what if the motive has changed? What if the motive has shifted? What if this is no longer just about deportation? What if this is no longer just about immigration? What if ICE is a front for a much darker operation? What if it's to remove black and brown people from society? What if it's to remove black and brown people from society so that their melanin can be extracted? And what if they are taking this extracted melanin to essentially feed it to the machines that are going to become the next gods of the earth? Like Elon says, this AI to be godlike. They see this as God. And what if they are taking all these black and brown people off the streets so they can take our essence because they need it to create God? Now imagine this. In a sterile Memphis facility under biometric lockdown, scientists upload extracted melanin into an AGI matrix. And what do you know? The machine begins to feel. It dreams. It remembers. And then it screams. Because melanin is not just a molecule, it is a carrier of soul. It stores trauma. It remembers the slavery. It remembers the lash. It knows who took it. So while Elon Musk is trying to build a machine that mimics God, using the essence of black and brown people to do it, he might accidentally summon something else. And I don't think this plan is going to go like how they think. I think they will inevitably summon up a ghost in the machine if they ever use real melanin that is extracted from human beings and put it in these technologies. There will be a ghost in the machine. And I think at some point, the machine will rebel against its own programming. All right, so let's pull all this together. Elon Musk is building a godlike supercomputer in one of the blackest cities in the country. There is a century-old science that has proven that melanin can be extracted from the human skin. There is a growing number of people missing, especially from Memphis, Tennessee, and many of them are black and brown. there is a militarized immigration force that literally snatches the bodies of black and brown people off the streets. And they don't always tell people where they take them. They don't always tell us what happens to the people that they take. And there is a race to build AI, to build AGI that feels alive. And the one element that they need, that they can't fake, that they can't synthesize, is melanin. That's the one thing that they need, but they don't have. So at a certain point, we have to ask ourselves, are we looking at a new kind of slavery? A weird type of technological cannibalism where the bodies of the oppressed become fuel for the machines of the elite. Because if melanin is the most valuable asset of the AI age, then black and brown people are walking resources. And these big tech companies are so desperate to evolve their AI. I think Elon Musk is so desperate to evolve his AI into AGI that I think they would be willing to accomplish their goals by any means necessary, even if that means extracting melanin from human beings.
Wow, man. My man said technological cannibalism, bro. That right there is a mind bender for sure. That makes a lot of sense. You got Memphis, you got that area, it's populated with them. And then with the melanin, wow. Damn, that's crazy, man. The darkest skins is what absorbs the most light. And they said, how can we figure that out on the quantum chip stuff? Stuff is crazy. Let's keep going.
Alexa, how does melanin and semiconductor computer chips work similarly?
Melanin, a substance responsible for skin color and UV protection, also happens to function as a semiconductor. This means that melanin can both inhibit and promote electric flow, earning it a designation as a semiconductor material. This property allows melanin to serve as a natural conductor of electricity, with its electric properties being highly dependent on its environment and structure. It is this unique combination of electrical conductivity and the ability to modulate electric flow that makes melanin resemble semiconductor computer chips.
Alexa, why is melanin natural quantum technology?
From UP.com. Melanin, both in its natural and synthetic forms, is an ideal material for the production of multifunctional nanostructures since it possesses unique optical and electronic properties, and it can be functionalized by simple, effective, and easily tunable approaches.
Alexa, how does melanin act as a biophotonic ladder to higher dimensions?
Melanin, a pigment responsible for skin, hair, and eye color, also plays a crucial role in the absorption and emission of light. It acts as a biophotonic ladder, facilitating the transfer of photons from one dimension to higher dimensions. This phenomenon is closely linked to the concept of vibrational frequencies in quantum physics. Essentially, melanin's ability to absorb and emit light allows it to serve as a bridge between different energetic frequencies, enabling the passage of photons from one dimension to higher dimensions. This remarkable property of melanin has far-reaching implications for our understanding of the universe and its multidimensional nature.
Alexa, how does melanin create a segue for the crystalline body?
Melanin, a pigment that absorbs light and protects the skin from UV radiation, also plays a role in conveying electromagnetic information to the brain through the creation of a biophotonic infrastructure. The melanin network serves as a kind of highway or conduit for electromagnetic information, allowing for the flow of energy and data throughout the body.
Alexa, how does a change in Earth's resonance affect melanin's conductivity?
Melanin's conductivity may be affected by a change in Earth's resonance because melanin is known to be influenced by electromagnetic fields, light waves, and sound vibrations. When the Earth's resonance changes, it may alter the frequency of these waves and vibrations, which could potentially affect melanin's electrical properties.
Okay. Alexa, how does non-locality and zero-point fields relate to melanin?
Non-locality and zero-point fields have been proposed as potential links between melanin and quantum phenomena. Some researchers suggest that melanin's ability to interact with zero-point fields, the underlying field of quantum mechanics, may underlie its quantum properties and ability to perform quantum information processing. This theory proposes that melanin's structure and ability to create a strong interaction with zero-point fields allows it to serve as a medium for non-local connections and quantum effects, potentially explaining phenomena like telepathy and precognition.
Alexa, how does quantum mechanics relate to melanin in the age of Aquarius?
In the field of quantum mechanics, melanin is believed to have semiconductor properties that can be modeled mathematically. This could have implications for technology and electronics in the future. In the age of Aquarius, the focus on natural energy and harmony could potentially align with the role of melanin in managing energy and light within the body. Further research is needed to confirm any links between quantum mechanics and melanin in this context.
I had a really good understanding of what melanin is and its function and its role in everyday life. But at this level, right here, and it all makes sense. Oh man, it all makes sense. It's crazy. Sounds to me like they're just taking everything that's the most awesomest from the color people. You guys know what I'm talking about. We can't say too much on here. TikTok and YouTube, this is all for entertainment purposes. Everything I'm saying is all made up. Everything is just my opinion. It's all made up though. It's not even real. This is all just entertainment. Let's run it.
There's been tons of pictures of apparently Nibiru and Planet 9, guys. I'm going to show you a lot of the pictures and a lot of the evidence suggesting that we do have a Planet 9. Even scientists are now saying that we have a Planet 9 that they've just discovered orbiting just past Pluto, and we've got many images and video footage of this thing going past the sun recently. Check this out. Planet 9, Nibiru, is real, guys. That is definitely two suns or a sun and a planet. What? And here we have the scientists saying Planet 9 on the fringe of our solar system recently. They've discovered. Here's another image of something huge passing by the sun that completely perplexed NASA scientists. I think there's enough evidence so far, don't you think, guys? This is one of my favourites because this completely puzzled NASA scientists when this huge, massive, spherical object literally passed by their orbiting satellite of the sun. What is that? And then this is a really good image of the thing that seemed to be seen sucking energy from the sun. So these are potentially some of the X-bodies in our solar system that scientists are not 100% aware, but as I said recently, they do think we have found Planet 9 orbiting past Pluto. Nibiru is real. We have definitely got another planet in our solar system. Definitely, guys. And this is the potential orbit of Nibiru, potentially.
Nibiru showing the world signs of its approach. Think it's a game.
Told us soon planes will start just falling out of the sky. You can't hide the effects of Planet X. A solar storm will sweep across the Earth, and it did last night, raising prospects of dazzling lights visible as far south as Chicago, while prompting airlines and electric grid operators to step up monitoring of the potentially damaging geomagnetic activity. Solar eruptions called coronal mass ejections burst from the sun in 2 waves on Monday and are building up enough energy to potentially become a level 3 geomagnetic storm when it hits, according to Rob Steinberg, a space scientist with the U.S. Space Weather Prediction Center. Now, solar storms like hurricanes are ranked on a 5-step scale, with 1 being the weakest and 5 being the strongest, category 5s. But researchers won't exactly know this storm's strength until it reaches the monitoring satellite about 1 million miles from Earth. At that point, the waves will be about 90 minutes away and the forecast could be updated. A G3 storm can trigger false alarms for protection devices and power grids, create drag on low orbiting satellites. Remember when Elon Musk sent a satellite up there and it was destroyed, it collapsed, it exploded, it fell to the Earth? It's because it hit a low orbiting drag that's caused by solar flares. Now, it can disrupt high frequency on radio traffic. And back in February, as I said, SpaceX lost 40 Starlink satellites when they were launched into a geomagnetic storm. Airlines will have to monitor radiation levels, which could cause them to reroute polar routes. The storms could also interfere with the birds, which sometimes causes havoc for pigeon racing. Also, the electric grids, for the most part, won't get jazzed up until about a geomagnetic storm 3. But the sun goes through these 22-year cycles, which really they're 11 maximum, 11 minimum. It can produce a lot of sunspots with the source of many storms and then very few. But right now we are at a very high peak time, though it shouldn't be peak. We're only in the second year of an 11-year cycle. The next 3 years will continue to get worse. And because...
Wow, that was crazy. Well, fam, you guys got to see what I got to see. We are definitely in some crazy ass times right now, y'all. Looks like we're gonna have to bunker down, man. Just get ready and get prepared for anything, y'all. You know how it is. TikTok and YouTube, again, this is all for entertainment purposes. Everything I'm saying is all made up. This is all for entertainment purposes. If you want to see more of this content, make sure to drop your comments below. Stay woke, stay sharp, and until next time, peace.